Yo, welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Master League, as we are going to just switch it up a little bit and see if our Master League team featuring Rhyperior, Zacian, and Yveltal will work. We're going to stay in for now, and we're just going to fire out this breaking swipe versus this Rhyperior, because we do not have the maxed out one, so they were going to be able to win CAP anyways, and they throw the serve, so they were going to be able to win that matchup. We're going to go into the Yveltal now. We have to shield the first one, ends up being the Rock Wrecker, and we are going to be able to get the farm down at least, so ton of energy. Let's see what comes back in. Dialga decides to show up. We are going to fire off the move. They decide to shield, and now we see the Ho-Oh lurking in the back. We're going to fire off this move here. Close combat does get shielded, but it debuffs us anyways. So then we're going to get to another wild charge. We're going to get to this wild charge. The wild charge does in fact go through, gets them into the red, and Brave Bird is revealed. Unfortunately, they did farm up so much energy that this is going to be another Brave Bird, and we have to shield it. So down goes the Ho-Oh, and now we have the Yveltal versus Dialga. This is going to be close. Unfortunately, they get to a move here. Does it take us out? Yes, it does. Barely. So very, very close. Unfortunately, they were running a little bit of a spice pick moveset on the Rhyperior, and they did take us out without taking a lot of damage, honestly. All right, we got the Rhyperior versus the opposing Yveltal. Their Yveltal is pretty maxed out. We fire out the Rock Wrecker. They decide to shield. Interesting. So we're just going to take the shield advantage. We could shield here, but we're just going to decide to take the shield advantage. We unfortunately do not get the next Rock Wrecker off, so we're going to force the issue. I believe this Rock Wrecker does enough or barely doesn't take it out, so that would have been significant damage. They decided to double shield, and let's see if that's going to pay off. So we're going to go into the Zacian here. Fire off this wild charge immediately before we have to tank a move. Down goes the Yveltal, and now we see the Melmetal. Then they counter swap into the Primarina. Primarina luckily is not running Charm, so at least we're going to be able to survive these a little bit better. Our opponent here is going to be able to get to a move here. We are going to let this go. Ends up only being the Hydro. So they're trying to get a shield from us, but that allows us to get this Oblivion Wing, and we did a little bit of chip damage there. It would have been very nice to get off that Dark Pulse, but not enough. Double Iron Bash is revealed, and that could be the demise of our Zacian here. We were hoping they were running some Rock Slide superpower action, but the double Iron Bash is going to be the right moveset versus the Zacian, and down goes our Zacian, unfortunately. Even though the close combat did a significant damage, we needed either Dark Pulse from our Yveltal before going down, or getting to double close combat, which was not possible with all of those spamming attacks. All right, another terrible lead here. We got the Tapu Bulu. We're going to have to switch out into the Zacian. The Zacian, unfortunately, is not running player rub, so this is just a matter of trying to get them to switch out. Our opponent does elect to go for another move, and we're going to have to shield here. They finally switch out, and then we're going to go into our moves now. Close combat is used, and now they pretty much know we don't have player up, so this is pretty decent for our opponent. We're going to throw the two close combat and switch out into the Rhyperior. Rhyperior is going to be able to get to this breaking sweat, and we do proc a debuff, so we're going to survive this move here. Outrage Zygarde, interesting. So looking for the farm down. We don't get the farm down, but we're going to have to tank a debuff to crunch, no problem. And now we see the Tapu Bulu come back in. Tapu Bulu doesn't really want to tank this Rock Wrecker, and that's exactly their idea. They're going to shield and farm down. And now we're going to go into the Yveltal because we are resisting the fast moves. Our opponent here is going to be able to get to that Nature's Madness, which does super effective, roughly 70%, and they decide to shield. Interesting. So the shield forces us to switch out as well, and we're going to go into the wild charge. We do get to it right before we get KO'd. Our opponent here does have potential Brave Bird energy, so we're gonna have to shield here no matter what, and they do decide to go for the Brave Bird. We get the farm down, we have a move, but we lose CAP versus the Tapu Bulu. So unfortunately, down goes our team. We lose the CAP tie versus the Tapu Bulu. That was just a little bit unfortunate, and that was pretty close considering we had a really, really bad lead. All right, we're gonna switch it out a little bit here. The backline wasn't quite closing for us, so we're gonna use the Primarina instead. Good lead here. They switch out into the Yveltal. Yveltal going up against our Primarina. Not running Charm, however, these waterfalls are adding up. Our opponent here is gonna have to think about shielding here. We throw the Hydro Cannon and we get the shield. Our opponent does get to another move. Oblivion Wing is used. We survived that, thankfully. And then we're going to be able to get to another move. So this is going to do significant damage or get the second shield. They decided to go for the shields. That's fine, because now we have two answers to that Solgaleo, I believe. So we're just going to let this go. Dark Pulse is used. And we're going to throw this Breaking Swipe before they get to their next move. So we get a little bit of energy advantage. And now we see what they bring in. Okay, so Galeo is brought in, but then we're going to counter swap immediately, get the energy advantage, and we see the Palkia lurking in the back. Palkia is going to be doing a lot of fast move pressure. And now that's going to force us to use this Oblivion Wing. Barely doesn't KO. They get to their move here. Let's see what move they're throwing. Aqua Tail is used. We get the farm down, which is great. And now we have an energy advantage and a move. Dark Pulse, huge damage goes through, and we're going to switch out into the Rhyperior immediately. We go for the Breaking Swipe right here, and we proc the debuff, and that's going to be enough for us to get the extra little Mud Slap to get the final win. So GG's to our opponent. That Breaking Swipe debuff ended up coming in clutch, because I think a regular Psychic thing would have taken us out from that range. So really, really, really fortunate for us. Primarina, and they are running Charm, I believe. So we're going to be able to stay in for a little bit. They let the Rock Wrecker go. That is huge, because now not only are they switch locked, but now we get to see what they have. Kyogre is revealed. This Primarina is putting up a fight. We're going to shield here. Ends up being the Thunder, so great shield by us. We're going to fire off this Disarming Voice. The Disarming Voice would do some good neutral damage. They decide to shield it. So interesting. We're going to go for another Disarming Voice. Does some enough damage to get him into the red. Surf is used right there, and that's enough to take us out. So now we're going to go into the Yveltal. Yveltal going to shield here and having a really great matchup. If we can get this farm down, we do get the farm down, and now we're in a really, really good spot. Necrozma doesn't want to see this Yveltal. They're gonna shield this Dark Pulse. Do we get to another Dark Pulse? Nope. They get to their move before us. Let's see what moves that they're running. Sunsteel Strike takes us out, but now we have the Rhyperior chunking away with their fast moves, and down goes the opposing Necrozma. So GG's to our opponent. Check out the team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoy the video.